We say shap shap here on Morning Live. Thanks for staying with us. Today, the Arts and Culture Deputy Minister, Rejoice Mabudufasi, will launch the 2016 South African Library Week at the Sibusiwe Hall in Sundumbili, KwaZulu-Natal. Here in Gauteng, the National Librarian and CEO of the National Library of South Africa, Professor Rocky Ralebipi-Simela, will highlight the week-long program that runs until the 21st under the theme #Libraries for Lifelong Learning. Library Week strives to address our country's educational, social, cultural and recreational needs. We've got the professor joining us in our Cape Town studios. Not Cape Town, Pretoria studios. So good to see you, and thank you very much for being with us, Professor.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Talk to us through the theme of 2016, Libraries for Lifelong Learning.
Yes, I lost you again.
Let's try.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's start again. Let's see if you can hear me. Professor, is the sound fine? Are you able to hear us? No, looks like we've lost the sound there, unfortunately. But we are going to be talking to the professor about this Library Week. And I tell you what, it's quite interesting in this day and age to see the use of libraries. Do libraries still form a very important part of our lives? I certainly think that they do. But with the advent of internet and the likes of Google, it doesn't matter where you are. If you have a question and you need some answers, you type a word in and all the answers come out. How many people still go into libraries and actually do their research and take out books? I mean, how does it work? With the digital age, it's a big competition, but perhaps, you never know, there is always that different level of libraries. Well, these are some of the questions we can ask. So hopefully we've got the professor back. Let's just test one more time. Bear with us here. Professor, I hope you can hear us. How's that sound? Are you able to hear us again?
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Now.
Excellent. We're happy to have you back there. Apologies for the break there. Now, we talk about libraries for lifelong learning. Talk to us about the theme that you've developed for this year.
The theme that we have for this year really talks about libraries as very central to people's lives. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you are a preschooler, if you are a parent, you are a teacher, you are, you're a working person, you're looking for information for your career choices and options. Libraries are more relevant today than they've ever been before because they create all of these systems that bring all kinds of different media of information to the communities.
I love what you said, that they're more relevant and needed now than ever before. And I sort of put a question mark over that. You know, with the advent of digital, and we're all walk around with Google. I mean, we don't have to get home to Google these days. You don't have to have that pressing thing. What is the answer? I promise you, if I don't Google something at least 3 times an hour, I have a problem. It's just that information is so immediate and so fast. Are libraries still relevant? Do you find people still coming in there for these reasons?
Yeah. Leanne, libraries are not just the buildings, not just the bricks and mortar and books. That is the traditional picture that you have. But, I like to say that even Google uses libraries to provide their information. What they have is just a different platform, but the information is basically the same. So libraries can be virtual, they can be electronic libraries, and they don't necessarily have to be the buildings. But we're talking about access to information through libraries and the usage of technology for people to access and have information that they need.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, when you think about when you do think about a library, and you read a couple of articles about whether libraries are still relevant in today's day and age, you hear some people saying, are they just warehouses for old books, or do people use them? And the reality is, they are still being used. I mean, people, you can paint a picture for us. I mean, from young children to adults going into these libraries. What else do you provide? Obviously moving with the times.
Yeah. You see, South Africa is a very it's a very different situation when you compare it to libraries and their roles in the bigger world. For the majority of South Africans, these services and resources were not there historically. Just to give you an example, before 1994, you did not have any libraries in any of the schools that black people went to. Okay, so libraries only existed for white schools. And in terms of the public library sector, black people were not allowed to go into these libraries. Yeah, so what that really did was to, remove the opportunities equal opportunities that South Africans today have in participating in the knowledge economy.
Yeah.
So the libraries have created systems, digital systems, that provide digital resources that you can, access through your mobile, through your laptop, through going into the library itself. So it is one of those key resources, national resources for our development as a democratic country.
Yeah. I see this, and I think that's the way it is, because there's just, libraries are still a hive of activity, and when you read how they've changed, and it's Wi-Fi, it's fiber, it's going in there, it's a research tool. I used to love going to the library and studying. It's quiet, it's just that smell in a library, the being surrounded by books. It's very, very inspiring, and it's moving with the times. It's still keeping it up there, and I'm looking at 2015 numbers of how things are looking. Johannesburg having 87 libraries is what they're saying. 5.3 million people made use of the libraries last year. A total of 342,929 books were issued during the same period. So there is no debate here whether or not these libraries are actually still relevant in today's day and age.
Absolutely. The National Library building in Pretoria serves close to 500,000 people per year, and so we see a lot of people on a daily basis. So people still believe in the usage of libraries. I think what is really critical for the young people today, those people who do not have money to access information through the internet, can use the libraries. It's for free. We provide these services for free. So it's not just the books as the traditional media as we know it. It's so many different kinds of things, including games for children.
That's fantastic. Just on a final closing note, I know that reading that there were plans to build more libraries. In fact, we were hearing about Stratford, Patterson Park and others. Are these libraries complete, or are there still more plans to build more libraries?
We try, yes, Leanne, we're trying to make sure that every librarian, every South African has access to a library, at least something like 10-kilometer radius within which they live. Every community needs to have access to these resources. So we will build more libraries and provide more resources as we go forward.
Thank you so much for talking to us here on the program. Professor Ralebipi-Simela, National Librarian, the National Library of South Africa. It's the week celebrating libraries in the country. Do you still use a library? Do you enjoy going there? Look, I have to confess, I don't go because, I'm not necessarily studying at the moment or anything, but I have taken my kids to get books out there and they love it. So I just go out there and go to your local library and support it, and you can hear there's so much more that they're doing than just handing up books these days. All right, now let's move our attention to something else. And SABC contributing editor Vuyo Mvoko has interviewed the director of the National Prosecuting Authority, Sean Abrahams. Let's hear what he had to say.